George Washington Carver, a child of a slave, was curious, clever, ambitious, and brave. On a farm where he lived, he was eager to know about all vegetation and what made it grow. He tried to enroll at the neighborhood school, but they said,
"You're not welcome. Tough luck, it's the rule."
"That's crazy," he thought, "but it won't get me down." And he left for a school in a faraway town, where he proved right away he was smart as can be. He later completed a college degree. He became a professor, but wished to do more. So he moved to Tuskegee to work with the poor. He taught how the healthiest crops could be grown, and meanwhile he worked in a lab of his own. He studied all plant life from grasses to spruces. For peanuts, he found over 300 uses. He made peanut pancakes, he made peanut cheeses, elixirs and ointments for fighting diseases, charcoal, linoleum, plastics and glue, hand lotion, soap, even peanut shampoo. He made peanut butter for mixing with jams, and then did more wonders with soybeans and yams. His remarkable talent for flair and invention soon brought him the nation's admiring attention. But praises and fame never went to his head. He was always devoted to learning instead. He never had much, yet he reached for the sky. George Washington Carver was one brilliant guy.
This is the story of Marie Curie. She was wild about science and as smart as could be. But in those days in Poland, despite all her knowledge, they told her,
"A woman cannot go to college."
with her family support, she at last went to France, where professors said,
"We shall give you a chance."
She studied so hard that she didn't just pass, but completed degrees at the top of her class. Now she and her scientist, sweetheart Pierre, worked together and made an unstoppable pair. While raising a family, they worked endless days with rocks that emitted mysterious rays. Now uranium, scientists already knew, gave off its own rays, but the two had a clue that in one special kind of uranium ore, the rays were so strong they would find something more. So they ground it and boiled it and used all their smarts to extract the most active and powerful parts. It was slow, it was boring, but when they were through, they discovered polonium, radium too. The stuff is amazing, Marie would remark. With its strong radiation, it glows in the dark. She soon became famous for all she'd achieved, and the 2 Nobel Prizes she later received. In an era when women in science were few, she showed the whole world what a woman could do. And today every scientist has to agree that one of the greatest was Marie Curie. Marie Curie.
In the land of fedoras and tasty spumoni, there lived a young genius whose name was Marconi. He'd tinker and daydream and read through the day. "Go do something useful," his father would say. Now, scientists then were already aware that electrical waves could be sent through the air, which soon led his curious brain to inquire, could messages somehow be sent without wire? So he took to his lab and succeeded quite well, with a gadget that set off a faraway bell. He showed it to experts, who told him,
"Dear boy, it won't work long distance, it's only a toy."
Now he could have just put it away on a shelf, but Marconi decided, "I'll see for myself." It worked, and it transmitted further each day. When he showed it in England, it blew them away. He built them a radio system for ships to stay close in contact on long ocean trips. He then built antennas so strong and gigantic, their signals could travel across the Atlantic. He soon became rich and was known far and wide.
"Ah, that's my boy,"
said his father with pride. And as others built on to his bold innovations, they gave us our popular radio stations. The airwaves are busy, and that's no baloney, because of the brains of Guglielmo Marconi. Orville and Wilbur, 2 brothers named Wright, once dreamed of machines with the power of flight. In a little back room of their bicycle shop, their designing and tinkering just wouldn't stop. They'd study the wings and the motions of birds, while the neighbors would laugh, "What a couple of nerds." They tested one glider, and then built another. "They're learning," said Wilbur. "And how?" said his brother. They both got a bump or a bruise now and then, but they never gave up. They just tried again, till at last they had built something no one had seen. They were ready to test their flying machine. So on a day in December in 1903, near the city of Kitty Hawk down by the sea, they cranked up the engine. And what did it do? It sputtered, it rumbled, then zoom, off it flew! And that's why today you can hop on a plane to Chicago or Phoenix, Australia or Spain. So whenever you look at an airplane in flight, just remember the tale of 2 brothers named Wright. One gloomy night in Menlo Park, Tom Edison said,
"Gee, it's dark."
But then he had a brilliant thought. Electric lights would help a lot. Now others too had tried their best to build a bulb that passed the test, and yet their light would never last. The glowing part burned out too fast.
"I see,"
said Tom.
"I must invent a better, stronger filament."
At first he tried some metal wire, which melted, broke, or caught on fire. So next he tested strips of wood, and every single plant he could. He had to char them first, he learned, to make them glow but not get burned. Grasses, reeds, and weeds galore, he tried 6,000 kinds and more. He had some luck with cotton thread, but then he tried bamboo instead. It filled the room with dazzling rays. What's more, it lasted 50 days. And now the light bulb's golden glare is seen in houses everywhere. New York and London, France, Brazil. The bulbs keep getting better still. They light the night when day is done, all thanks to Thomas Edison. Days of Castle, Kings and Knights, a book was something rare. It was made by hand for wealthy folk, with lots of gold to spare. Till a clever man named Gutenberg said,
That's a shame indeed. If making books was quick and cheap, then everyone could read.
So he launched a secret project in the workshop where he'd hide, and townsfolk often stopped to ask,
What's going on inside?
Well, Gutenberg was hard at work with all his expertise. He invented little molds to make his metal ABCs. He'd arrange them in a block of type and smear it all with ink, then press it down on paper.
Not as easy as you'd think.
For years he toiled and tinkered, till at last he found success. He unveiled his great invention.
Look, I've made the printing press.
He printed up some school books, which were nice but just a start. But then he made his famous Bibles, which were splendid works of art.
Whoa.
The printing press soon changed the world. Now everyone had books. Not only kings and noblemen, but farmers, maids, and cooks. So today, whenever you enjoy a book or magazine, just remember that it started out with Gutenberg's machine.
One gloomy night in Menlo Park, Tom Edison said, gee, it's dark. But then he had a brilliant thought. Electric lights would help a lot. Now others too had tried their best to build a bulb that passed the test, and yet their light would never last. The glowing part burned out too fast. Thomas Edison. I see, said Tom. I must invent a better, stronger filament. At first he tried some metal wire, which melted, broke, or caught on fire. So next he tested strips of wood, and every single plan he could. He had to char them first. He learned to make them glow but not get burned. Thomas Edison. Grasses, reeds, and weeds galore. He tried 6,000 kinds and more. He had some luck with cotton thread, but then he tried bamboo instead. It filled the room with dazzling rays. What's more, it lasted 50 days. Wow! And now the light bulb's golden glare is seen in houses everywhere. New York and London, France, Brazil. The bulbs keep getting better still. They light the night when day is done, all thanks to Thomas Edison.